Welcome to Rise and Shine with Alissa. I am your hostess, the consultress, bringing you awesome conversations from really interesting and cool people to help you inform your perspective so you can pivot, make better decisions, and build the life that you were meant to live in this age of disruption. Nothing's going back to normal, folks. Everything is new and up for review. So get your education here. I'm out there surfing the web and networking my butt off to find amazing people that have kind hearts, great stories, and lots of value to add to the world. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Neco Turkinech. How are you?
I am good. Let me raise my mug. My mug is the Meshuggah mug.
It's crazy.
And see, you bring interesting people, and today you're bringing a Meshuggah. I don't know why.
Listen, I love crazy people. First and foremost, if you don't have a personality, I don't bother with you. But there was a teacher once in my history that would say, "You drive me mashugana," and
Yeah.
I've never forgotten the word. I grew up in the world of bagels. I'm an Italian and an Irish by heritage, but I feel like I was grown in the Jewish culture, being in the bagel industry. So these are words I'm very familiar with. I I so enjoy our conversations. We met out there in the networking world, bringing value to business owners and entrepreneurs, which is exactly what we're doing here. But I'd like to learn a little bit more about you, even though like I know more about you than these people do. But like your background is a video of what? What is playing in the background for you there?
Well, you see, my background is a lake called the Lake Guaíba, and it's located in the city of Porto Alegre. And Porto Alegre is in the south of Brazil. You would say Brazil is divided into states like the United States, and this would be the Texas of Brazil, you can say. So it's in the tip of Brazil down there, really in the south. And this is where I was born. And 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 of course I'm biased, but the best sunsets in the world.
I mean, you're showing it to us right there live. You know,
Absolutely,
it's
absolutely. So that's the lake. And a little bit about my background. So yeah, I was born in Brazil. I uh, uh, I started studying journalism. My whole thing with the visual started very early in life with photography and stuff. But when I was 21, I got married, and immediately my wife and I moved to Israel. We moved to Israel in by the end of 1982, and there we lived for 23 years. So that was my second country. Uh, and that's where I started my career as a filmmaker. I'm a director and editor, and so I went to film school, Tel Aviv. I started working. I was super um, lucky, I would say, that exactly when I finished university, cable television just started in Israel. That same year, so me and all my colleagues we got hired because they needed new hands, and for many years I worked as a freelancer director and editor. Sports TV I did a lot, did a few more than a few documentaries for TV on sports, on fashion, and different stuff. And suddenly in 2004, a friend of mine that went to film school with me, um, who is American, he called me from out of nowhere and said that he needed help. He wanted to invite me to be his creative director in the animation company he had founded in New York. And I came, I checked, and then I had to have my family agree because my two children were teenagers back then. My wife is a Hebrew teacher, and we decided to come. So I've been here in the States. That's my 21st year. So this is my third country.
wow, dude. I mean, like, break it up into thirds for me, man. Holy
Yeah.
cow. So you have literally kind of charted the course from continent to continent.
Yeah, basically from South America to the Middle East, and from the Middle East to North America. Yeah, absolutely. That's why I always say yes. I always say that I am the wandering Jew. You're a
Yeah.
typical wandering Jew. That's not something unusual for Jews to hop from place to place. So I
Well,
personify.
and so we were in the green room just before this, and I was like, "Oh my God, the Wandering Jew! This is some of my favorite plant life on the planet. I have a bunch of these like purple stuff. Like I have always plants around me because I just feel like I need the ones that I can't kill. And this plant right here brings me so much joy. It's like my favorite color, and when you put it in the window, it shines this like royal purple and sometimes green. Anyway, so I taught you something. I'm like, there is a plant
Yeah, I
species
didn't know
and
about that one. Yeah.
many different types of them,
Uh-huh.
named after your archetype there, sir. But being that you've traveled from place to place to place and you have brought your career with you, it's kind of inspiring to hear that you can not only change locations and change, develop who you are, but also like following your passions. It sounds like you kind of stepped forward into your next evolution as a filmmaker and then again as in production. And the last two great legs of your life have been dedicated to like creative arts. I mean, I've never seen somebody with the better backgrounds than you. So tell us a little bit about, being that your family said yes and you wound up in in America, in New York. What was that next phase and that next transition for you? Because we heard a little bit about I followed film and established my life, and then so the transition to the U.S. What were you following then, and how has that like blossomed for you since?
Well, I think the main transition for me was, well, a transition in country is a big transition. Yes, absolutely. But and the other transition for me was to for the first time in my life to be part of a company. I was always a freelance creative, and you know, but that ended in 2008 with all the crisis, and I found myself looking for a job, and and that's when I decided to open my own company. Now, the thing is, when you are a creative professional like myself, you don't know business. I didn't know business. I didn't know how to be a business owner. So that was a big transition for me. And I have to say, I'm still learning every day because you know when you're this creative professional, okay, you were working for other people, but you're mainly focused on the creative side. You're not worried about the business side so much or the marketing side, and those were all things that I had to start learning. I would say 13 years ago, and I'm much better at this now, I would say,
I would say too.
but not perfect. Not perfect. Listen, one of the things that motivates me is my curiosity. I'm crazy curious, so I'm always looking to learn new things, and sometimes it's like the squirrel, like, oh, shiny object,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's the part where I needed to okay, focus, focus.
And I think a lot of entrepreneurs actually have this very same tendency. So like it is so comforting to hear that you're like, I was focused on the work that I love, because like as entrepreneurs, that's kind of what we're up to. We're creating solutions to emergent problems to solve like tomorrow's prosperity,
Yeah.
but there is a part of us that is the craftsman that loves the trade, that loves the thing that we're really good at. And then there's the wrapper of business where it's, there's the strategy, you have the implementation, you have to measure it, and to create systems for that takes some work. It takes some awareness of, what is it that I'm doing and why? Who am I serving and how am I going about creating that value for people? And then how do I measure my success and not just, kind of creatively squirrel and shiny object all over the place to see where I'm getting the best results, not only for myself and my business, but for the people that I'm working with as well. Without that measure of reflection, like when you come to it from the creative side, you have to be able to look at it objectively, and it takes a team. It takes other people that have discipline and that have mastery in these other spaces to say, why don't you try QuickBooks? Or why don't you stop trying QuickBooks and hire somebody else? So, what were some
And
of these roadblocks that you came up against, figuring out the business side of the creative
sales, I never thought about sales. Never thought, of course, I was selling myself as a freelance professional, yes, but not much. It's all okay, referrals, but sales until until you learn to enjoy sales, and today I do, because and I found my way because I'm all about storytelling.
Hmm.
I love telling stories. That's what my art is, and in the end, I started, and I do love what I do today, which is different what I did 20 years ago. I've been in this career for 35 years now, and it changed. But today, I enjoy telling the stories or helping businesses tell a story. There's always a human behind the business. There is always a story. And guess what? If you're not telling your genuine story, and that could be more technical, less technical, more personal, less personal, but if you're not telling a story, nobody's listening to you.
Right.
Nobody's listening to you. So I found my place in this storytelling, business storytelling, or listening to the people behind the business, or helping them put that message out, and that brings me immense joy. So that was my way of saying, okay, sales is okay too. You don't need to be, oh, the creative only. No,
Yeah.
sales is creative as well. It's very creative. I learned.
Yeah, and it's, today's sales is different than traditional sales.
Yeah.
Today's sales is more based on a dialogue and on a discussion and learning about people and seeing if there is a natural fit. Yesterday's sales is all about, I'm going to pitch you whether you can fog a mirror or not. I'm going to pitch you whether you're my ideal client or not. And some of that is kind of going away, kind of like the industrial age that taught us all to be like, sit down, shut up, and behave.
Mhm.
The
Yeah.
entrepreneur is like the eternal rodent, that the roach that always comes back after the nuclear bomb. Like, we're gonna be creative, damn it. But that mindset of like solving problems never really leaves us. So it's awesome that you found your way to sales. I too had a love-hate relationship with the term sales. One of my first businesses that I built was in the multi-level marketing space. And
Mhm.
I didn't know that I was naturally good at talking to people, but whenever I got in my head about making the sale, it evaded me. But it's the moment I was just natural and having a conversation, try to find solutions and figure out someone's context to point them to the right product, the right process, the world opened up to me. And I learned that like, what I thought sales was is not actually what makes the sale. And so, like, flipping things over about what we think we know into
Mhm.
what actually works is it's the age of disruption right now, live. It's everywhere. But figuring out that a sale is only a sale because someone needs the thing that you have, and you
And
desire.
that's connected to listening.
Yep.
You have to
Yep.
learn how to listen. And if you don't listen, there's no sales.
Yo, you don't listen. Oh, sorry, that was a flashback to childhood. Um, so when you say storytelling is one of your passions, like I saw your face light up, and we all want to know, like, how is your lead productions? How does that, scratch that itch for you about helping people to tell stories, and where do you like to take those stories to be able to provide value and service to your clients?
Oh, there's so many different stories that you can tell and you should tell. One of the things we do, and this is kind of a basic story, but it's a very important one. We do a lot of client video testimonials. Oh, and those have to tell a story. It's not. It's not. It's and we interview people. We interview people about the how not only about how happy they are, but I want them to tell the story, the transformation that happened with them. That's the story. Like there was a problem. What was the problem? Why did it bother you? Why did you choose to work with so and so? Because there's so many coaches out there. Why that? And then tell the story of the process, and of course talk about the results. And but it's all so that's one type of story that it's super useful because if you have that story well told and you're answering, because in the end you're answering the questions that a prospect would ask. That's what you want to do. You want to answer the questions that a potential client would ask. Uh, Unless you ask them those questions, you don't have that story. Once you have that story, you basically have a powerful tool in your hands that you can use to sell to sell your stuff. So that's one example. The other example is something that you do very well, Alissa. That it's to give a lot of value, give massive value. Like tell in a story, but don't be afraid to tell your secrets. Do not be afraid to tell your secrets and use that. Tell your stories, tell your secrets frequently online. I would say in video, it's much better. That's
Yeah.
I am a little bit biased, huh? But
Biased in a good way because you've seen the power of it.
well, so let me use one of the sentences that I like the most. Like everybody talks about content marketing, uh, so that content is king, and it is. Like put out valuable content all the time. And I humbly say, if content is king, then video is the king of content. Because in a minute of video, what is the math? If a picture is worth 1,000 words, uh, a minute of video is worth 1.8 million words.
Wow.
So lot of stories to tell there, because you're telling it in different ways, in a visual way, your body language, whatever you're showing, and the text. So you have multi-level storytelling here.
Yeah, and that's it. Right? We are personal creatures. We like to be able to identify with the people that we do business with, the people that do business with them, the people who
Mhm.
like, know, trust those folks. And having something written on a website is great because it's someone else's words. But I love what you said about interviewing someone for mining that experience of what was the trajectory, like where did you start from, what was the experience there, and then what was the result that you experienced, like giving business owners a frame to have their fans give you a story around what was meaningful to them, and then sharing that. It's like having people over to dinner without having the price tag of bringing them to your dinner table, honestly.
Absolutely. And I would say not interviewing your clients is you're losing an opportunity every time you don't interview your clients, you know because they will basically sell for you if you let them tell the story, and they will tell it with passion. If you're in a conversation with them, and you know that they love what you did for them, so just let them tell that. Help them show the passion, because they have. So that's why it does make a difference. A little professional tip here would be, yeah, people say, nah, of course, but I can send the questions to my client, and they will read the questions and they will answer. Well, I'm a strong non-believer in testimonials that people record themselves. They have good intentions, yes. Many times they don't look and don't sound good, which is true. But the main problem is that they're not relevant. If someone spends a whole 60 seconds telling me how Alissa is great, yeah, I know. Okay, Alissa is great, but how did she help you? How was the process? Why did you choose her and not someone else? And even if you send the questions, if a person is reading and then delivering, even if every word is true, it doesn't ring true.
Yeah,
And as we know, people make decisions based on emotions. If they don't feel it's true, it
yeah,
won't work. So, and
honestly.
there's not anything more genuine than a person just answering a question candidly.
Yeah, and I think that's the next evolution that I was starting to describe in, like, talking about sales, is that it's dialogue based. So we're not anymore looking for people to have canned presentations that the whole classroom sits there and watches teacher until they're done, and then they're like, glad that's over, I'm out of here. No, it's more about engaging people and getting them to participate. So even my style of presentation, when I go into a virtual room now, it's all about, like, hey, raise your hand if this, and that anybody feel me, give me a high five, because it's interactive. People feel like this is an experience. It's not just information for my head. It's something that
Yeah.
I can enjoy, maybe learn something. And so in the act of engaging people, they actually are being more authentic. They're being more of who they actually are, so that when you get them to that place of having an awareness, whether that's at the end of your talk and now there's Q&A, but you're giving people an opportunity to be with you, not just listen or observe you, right? The dialogue is so important. Again, I was talking to somebody the other day about complex sales. I read this book a long time ago called Mastering the Complex Sale by
Mhm.
Jeffrey Thull. And basically it was like, if you have a really like masterful process that helps solve a problem for an industry, you're not just going to go, hi, you want to buy my process? Yes? No? Cool.
Yeah.
Like it involves buy-in, it involves concepts and workshopping and finding out what the details are. So reading that Mastering the Complex Sale helped me to find out how simple it can be by just being yourself. And
Yeah.
it's not complicated. People overcomplicate stuff. Like you were saying before, I'm so creative. I do so many things. But oftentimes, because we have that creative genius, we're overcomplicating it. And
Yeah.
there's a part of doing business and there's a part of creating engagement that you need to simplify. And that mastery right there, it took me decades to learn. I didn't start my life out as a good storyteller. I think I'm a decent one now. I probably have a lot of
Okay.
ways, like a
No,
long way
you're
to go.
good.
No, thank you.
No,
I'll
no,
take it.
No,
But
but
that's
you're right, but being yourself is super important because when I started in business, I had this uh, wrong notion that as a salesperson or as a business owner, I had to wear this kind of business mask,
yeah.
and it's not true. And for as long as I did that, it didn't work. It didn't work. I didn't like it, and it didn't work. From the moment I said, no, no, just be yourself, man. Just be yourself, be genuine, be truthful. uh, and again, the thing that I keep teaching myself, and I'm not as good as I want to be on, is listening. That's a work in progress.
Yeah, and people do business with people they know, like, and trust.
Yeah.
And where does that trust come from? From being able to feel like you can open up, to feel like you don't have to try to pretend to be somebody else in order to fit in, right? You can be genuine and feel that sense of belonging. That's how I felt when I found my operations partner.
Yeah.
I was ready to do a song and dance in our conversation, and we had a little bit of, hi, what's up, who are you? But the minute we dropped into, what do you do? And I heard her come alive in describing all of her passion about her work, I was like, whoa, I've never heard any kind of assistant role of any kind aside from the geek that I was in the assistant role long ago. I've never
Mhm.
heard somebody get so much juice out of this. So she opened up and she let me know who she was. For me,
Mhm.
that's the trust that I need to be able to hire people. I honestly hope that people who come through my door, that come into my clarity calls, get that same feeling about me, because I'm super curious. I just want to know
Yeah.
what's top of mind, where's your growth edge, and how can I create value, whether or not that's working with me. I'm not presumptuous when someone gets on a call with me that there's going to be a sale at the end. There could be, but what is going to serve them best? And if you keep that at the forefront of your creative endeavors, of your business endeavors, you're always going to win, whether it's immediately or in the long run. And that's, to me, the most important thing about entrepreneurship. I always say entrepreneurs save the world, because we're curious. We want to know what's the issue, what's the problem, and then how do we create solutions that
Absolutely.
will move the needle, that aren't just going to be like a band-aid on an issue. We want to really get in there and solve stuff. So you saw an opportunity to get in there and like increase the value of testimonials, increase the value of like quality video production. Like, we have explored some partnerships too, and the stuff that you use and the way that you make remote video possible,
Mhm.
it's revolutionary. It is
Oh,
best in
thank you.
class as far as I'm concerned.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, the remote video part is important because when many times when you talk about if I say, oh, okay, we are a video production company, then you immediately think about that, and rightfully so. Like, okay, those guys come with this big video crew and videographer and soundman and, and it costs a lot of money. So that's only for big businesses, and that used to be true. That used to be true, but really, technology today allows us to create really professional quality video without having to be on location and to come with that big crew and without that big budget ticket there, yeah. So
Yeah.
without breaking the bank. So I see as my mission helping small businesses, small mid-sized businesses that would not be doing this kind of video production, but they can if it's done remotely. And I also love to teach people how to. That's part of what I do is also video coaching to like, teach people how they can do it by themselves. And of course we help them with the more technical side in this case, which is the editing and the formatting and all. Because if you want to learn all this, of course you can do it yourself, but it takes time. So so remote video production is basically we leverage the great cameras that we have in our pockets, our phones. People are doing documentaries using iPhones these days because you do have, if you frame it correctly, you have decent lighting and a good microphone. Don't forget it. People, very common mistake. People forget that cameras are great, microphones not so much. So when we do remote video with, we're recording either a testimonial or working with a business owner, we send them a tripod and sometimes lights and sometimes a gimbal, but we always send a lapel microphone to tuck into the phone because you know those microphones are really they catch a lot of background noise, and you want your audio is at least 50% of every video you do. People should not forget that. People
Mm.
need to, if people, it may look wonderful, if it's difficult to listen, forget.
Yeah, your attention's gone. I'm having that problem later in life now where I'm like, I go into a noisy restaurant and I can't hear the table mates that are sitting around me. I'm like, why don't you just come over for dinner? Because like, or I need to sit there with seashells on my ears. Like, that's not happening.
Oh yeah.
Um, so listen, get rid of your ambient noise, hire Neco because he is a master at what he does. If you need video of any kind done for testimonials or for your business, he's your man. Um, also, contact me. I'll give you his contact information. But besides getting a personal introduction from the consultress, Neco, where can people go to connect with you?
Well, people can connect with me at first of all, can go to my website, which is Leib, as you see here, Leib Productions. Leib means lion in Yiddish. Everything has to have something in Yiddish. So leibproductions.com, or find me on LinkedIn. I'm there all the time. I'm very responsive. So DM me on LinkedIn and get in contact.
Right on. I really appreciate you coming and spending some time with us here at Rise and Shine. We learned a little bit about video production and how we have the power of awesome video content right in our hands. You should be leveraging it. If you want to learn more, please contact Neco. But also you got to hear about the wanderer, the dreamer, and the guy who loves sunsets and creativeness and has built a life based on his creative side and put that into practice to create massive value in the world. So super appreciate you.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Alissa.
Cheers
Was
to
a pleasure.
everybody watching here. We broadcast every single Monday at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Click like and subscribe and the notification bell so you do not miss another episode. This, my friends, is episode number 100.
Yay!
Woo! I need a cowbell. But I have really enjoyed bringing this type of content to you. We're about to do some really great things here. We've already done some really great things here, but stay tuned, stay informed, get the knowledge and the perspective that you need from amazing people. And hey, if you need a guy or a gal that does something, go look in the episodes lists, man. I got a bunch of people who are really great at what they do. So please don't hesitate to reach out. And thank you so much for being a listener or a participant here. Life is just so much sweeter with other people, especially in the age of disruption where we need each other more than ever. So cheers, rise and shine, and we'll see you next time, friends, on the same bat time and the same bat channel. See you later.